so happy you are here. We're going to have a really great show today. It's a beautiful day here in Pacific Northwest, and this is about how are you struggling to take control of your life. And do you kind of delve in negative self-talk? Is that kind of your second language? Well, or are you always thinking, there should be more to my life. I want to enjoy my life more. There should really be more. But you are unable to make some progress towards the life you want. Well, do you know that life coaching and law of attraction are great tools to change everything about your life? And my panel today and myself are great examples of just that thing. So this is going to be a really good show today, and you have come to the right place because this program is created every week. It's created on Thursdays at 12 o'clock, between 12 and 12:30, and I have great speakers that help you uplift your life. And today I am going to talk about how law of attraction can help you get the positive results you want in your life, like more money, better relationships. Maybe you don't want more, but better relationships, and living the life of your dreams. And this is episode number 33. So I'm just really proud that I've done that many episodes. And as I said, I'm going to be here now. This is a program time change. And by the way, these programs are evergreen, so they will be on YouTube forever. That's what evergreen is. And so you might want to check. Right down here it says Hang Out with Sandra Longmore /events. So that will tell you when my next show is and when my next event is. That's always up to date. And so who am I? Well, I'm Sandra Longmore. I'm a master energy practicer. That means I work with energy all the time in my coaching class, and also I'm an art teacher. So I'm in my art room right now. This is where I teach art to beautiful students. It's a most rewarding job. It's hard to give one up for the other, so I just decided to keep everything and make it work, and it works very, very well. I get to practice law of attraction, I get to teach art, and be very, very creative, and I am one creative person, probably like you if you're listening to this. So this show is about really getting into the flow of a great vibration. I like to call it vibrazione because I think that's a cool word. Vibrazione means vibration in Italian. And the purpose of the show here is to bring great thoughts and beautiful ideas about what to manifest in your life. And where you can just stand back at your life and say, hey, I did that. I did that. This is here because of me. Used to have a graphic on that. That's what I'm looking for here. This is here because of me. So the show is kind of like a mastermind where we each kind of help each other, and that's this graphic here. I'm an artist. You're going to get graphics. Helps you learn things too. And right now I would like to introduce my panel. So Simone, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, thank you for having me here today with you, Sandra. My name is Simone DaRosa. I'm a certified master coach. I focus on helping people align their life, the love, their energy of their leadership, and up level so that they are getting much more of what they want with more ease. And I've been doing this for a few years now, and I'm very much enjoying it. I'm learning more and more myself, and it is amazing how it really shifts your life. I always thought I had a good life, and it's getting better and better and better.
Yeah, so true, so true. So Tony, let's hear from you.
Hi, I'm Tony Winters, and I've known Sandra for years, and just very excited to be part of her journey and doing these hangouts and events and watching her grow as she gets her certifications and things. It's exciting, and I get to share and be part of that and learn on the way. So thank you.
You're so welcome, Tony. Yeah, Tony's in the art school here too. She's in another room right now, and that's why anyway, we're here together. So just to get you up to speed, if you've listened to this program for the first time, is that I do practice about energy and how to get energy to work for me. Like Simone said and like Tony said, it's all energetics. And the more we learn about it, even though we think we have it pretty good, and all three of us do have it pretty good, then have it really good, then it still can get better. So that is so amazing. Actually, it's very funny too. I love laughing
It
and
is.
having that law of attraction, and whatever comes, it's just life gets to be funny. So now you may have heard those words, law of attraction. I know I'm using them here, and your eyes just glaze over, and you say, "Oh my gosh, law of attraction again." And I heard that the other day. I was talking to someone that wanted to mentor me, and they said, "Well, you need to talk less about law of attraction and more about results." And I thought it just didn't feel right. And so I thought, wait a minute, I have split energy over that. And I recognized it immediately, which is a really aha for me, to just recognize that immediately that I had split energy. And so, law of attraction is where it's at for me. That's my base, right? It is my base. It makes sense. It creates better things in my life by learning about it, by applying it. And so, I don't think so. It's an old thing, law of attraction. In fact, it probably got birthed here on our planet the same time gravity did, and that's a long time ago. And yet today, we're just really getting to know about it. Yeah, people are talking about it. That's because it's leading edge stuff. And leading edge, maybe it's getting better. I think it is getting better. More people are interested in self-improvement, in coaching, life coaching, and in making their lives better because we know we can. We don't have to put up with anything that doesn't feel good. Even if it's something as simple as, making choices of whether to work with someone or not work with someone. If it feels good, then that's your most aligned path. If it doesn't feel good, that's contrast. And so you might be wondering, what is contrast? Well, contrast is, like I said before, is not anything that doesn't feel good. In my mastermind group this past week, a woman was talking about a meeting she had with a potential person who wanted her to do a commission, and how she wanted to do it really bad because it was financially a very good commission, but it didn't feel good. She said that the vibe didn't feel good. It just didn't feel good, and so she let it go. And sure enough, another one just came shortly thereafter. So contrast is anything that doesn't feel good, and you don't have to push into it and slog through it. There's another one on the way, another one coming up later, and we're going to talk more about our law of polarity and law of allowing a little bit later in this show. So you're going to get more about how to do that for yourself. And it's good, like one of the things I discussed with this lady is it's good to only do matches, because then everything else, law of attraction, like attracts like. So if you're in a aligned path, doing the path of least resistance, then you're going to have more matches to those good things in life. So you might consider saying, I only do matches. And knowing a little bit about law of attraction, the more you focus and put your attention on, that's what you get more of. So you probably have experienced that. You've experienced ahas, coincidences, serendipities, or observed people showing up in your life, and that's all law of attraction. That's how energy works. You could call it energy, law of attraction. It's the same thing. The other day, I was saying how much fun I have with everything. So the other day I was listening to this CD on tape, and it was really good. I like listening to the CDs. And I had it ran out, and I was going, oh darn, I want to put the new one in, but I want to concentrate on my driving, so I used the reset sentence. So what do you want, Sandra? So I'm going to say that again, because this is like pushing the reset button. So what do you want? And so I said that, what do I want? Well, I'd like the train to come across the tracks right now. So that's what happened. Ding, ding, that train came right across the tracks. And I thought, well, that's so cool. That's instant manifestation. Now, not that things like that happen all the time in your life, but when they do, celebrate them and have fun with it. And, that's how law of attraction and energy rolls. And the more you celebrate those things and notice them and become aware of them, like attracts like, the more you're going to get it. And that's called energy practicing or energy harnessing. And so the trick is to learn how to do that better and better. And I have a 4-part series coming up. In fact, I'm doing it right now. The second series is starting up. And it's a 4-part series for artists on everything you ought to know about law of attraction and business. And it's going to start, I think it's on my internet site. It starts in about 2 or 3 weeks. But you can go right down here, right there where it says events there, sandralongmore.com events, and find out when the next time for that series is. And in that series, you will learn how to really tap into the energies of law of attraction and become a shifter, like a Zumba dancer. A Zumba dancer knows how to shift right on, in the moment. And that's when life gets really fun, when you learn how to do that shift Zumba dance. So now I'd like to introduce the topic again. This is I guess it's episode number 36. I said 33 earlier, but it's 36. So it's Move Ahead with life coaching tips and tools. And today's topic is I'm going to talk about the 3 steps to manifest using law of attraction. And the only way you're going to do these is practice. And the first step is to identify what you want. And the second step is to give your desire attention. And the third step is you get what you vibrate. Or the third step is, the second step is like give your desire attention. And that's what I'm going to talk about earlier, and Simone's going to talk about in a little bit, about the law of allowing and the law of polarity. So that's giving your desire attention. And the third step is you get what you're vibrating out there. So sometimes it's stopping a train, Superman was the only one that could do that before. Now, guess what? Sandra did it. So you really can do great things. Maybe not stop trains all the time, but you can do great things in your life. So, it's the details that make the difference in what you manifest. And today, Simone and I are going to talk about that. So when we got together and thought about what we want to share with our viewers today, we thought about, let's do the different laws. So there's, the 3 laws, and Simone is going to talk about that now. So Simone, you're on.
Thanks again. I have a lot of clients who invariably will come up with something that they're resisting. Even though they're talking about what they want, they start telling me why they can't get it. So I spent the last year, I noticed kind of thematically, working with a lot of people who are very left-brained. So they're professionals. A lot of them work in the financial district. They just know what they know. They know it extremely well, and that is how things are. So what I'm getting to is that when you are successful and you're really habitualized your thinking process and how you operate in the world, it's often hard to see why you're stuck, because it's all here for you. It's above the neck, and you can't even, the more numbers you accrue on your little card, the more, the sort of distracted and detached you've become from what you used to know and being more and more open-minded. So that's something I work with clients, especially toward the law of polarity, because a lot of times they'll say, I'm just stuck, this is how things are, it will never be, these are the kind of key words, right, that you hear. It's always like this, and so forth. So one of the things that they stick themselves on is the what I call duality. Law of polarity at its root is really about every one thing is made up of 2 things. So there's the top and the bottom. There's masculine and feminine in all of us. there's an on and off and so forth, but each one thing needs the two aspects of itself in order to be. So one way of pushing clients past their resistance, or helping them walk through the resistance, really is to get them to see that there are different ways to look at things, and not just the one way. They become so habitualized to think about a thing. So most of my clients don't have this one, but let's say, okay, here's one that my client does have. I have to change my job soon. I'm in resistance of it. I want a better job. In fact, I'm kind of tired of this job, but this job pays the rent and I'm comfortable with it. So rather than looking at a job search as hard, a job search as scary, look at it as an opportunity. So this is a shift of your perception, which the law of polarity allows us to have. And looking from something that is bad, changing to your perception of looking at it as good, so that you can really start putting your energy and you're flowing that energy to what is good about it. And also learning the lessons through the law of polarity, which is to say, it's contrast. It offers you contrast. Well, if I think looking for a job is hard, then that's something I don't want. Just like the train that Sandra was talking about, you want to just say to yourself that looking for a job is an opportunity. It's going to be a good thing because I'm really tired of this job anyway, and it is an opportunity for me to grow and look at new aspects of myself that I've neglected for a long time. So there's a kind of an art in law of polarity, but it really is about releasing your own stubbornness, frankly, and your rigidity of it is this way, I'm right, this is. When you are right, you are no longer asking questions, first off. And secondly, you're constantly looking to see and prove your thesis of how you're right. So you're not putting your attention on what it is you want. And you're further knocking yourself and pushing yourself back into a corner of resistance. So you can see how that sort of all loops around and around until you're just more and more frustrated. So I don't know, I hope that's clear, that you can, one, learn to upgrade your vibration. Everything is energy. Your energy vibration is what your frequency is, your radio signal out there in the universe, and what it is responding to in you. So you can upgrade that to look at things that you always thought were bad and look at the other side of it that is necessary for the thing to exist in the material plane as well as in the universe. And then secondly, you can use law of polarity to learn your lessons through contrast. What you don't want, okay, fine, what do I want? Much like the reset button that Sandra talked about.
Yeah, so true. You know, that I like that idea too, that about arguing for your own limitations.
Yes.
You know, that people they're opinionated about something, and you come across a person like that they're going to be right because they're arguing about their own limitations, and sometimes it takes someone like a life coach sessions, you know, to really allow us to see how we're doing things like that, because it's, you know, a lot of times we have these blinders on, and so life coaching is so valuable.
Yes, the objectivity and somebody who is sensitively detached and able to articulate to you, do you realize that you say these things so often, or what does that mean when you say that? You know, it's just the awareness factor. A lot of times people, really smart people especially, just get habitualized in a pattern, and then their brains are rutted, literally, in this way. And so it really takes somebody to sort of stop them and get them to kick themselves into another gear. And then from there, you can start rewiring your brain. That's really how I work with people.
Yep. And she's a darn good coach, too. I know. She's coached me. Yeah. So then there's the law of allowing. Now, the law of allowing is part of law of attraction, and it's a tricky one. It's probably the most misunderstood law, and it's probably, you know, it's pretty tricky. And the tricky thing is that what it means is it's absence of doubt. So maybe I can help you a little bit by telling you a story. I like to tell stories to get a point across. So here's a law of allowing person here, and it's got a bunch of X's and pluses, and so positive and negative. This person is thinking positive and negative things, and it wants to allow its desire to come through. It has this big desire, and it wants it to come through. And so the third step, right, is allow. So say, for example, I'm going to do a pizza story. So say, for example, you have made a list and you are going to order pizza, and you get someone to help you make that list. And that person, they say, well, I like mushrooms and I don't want any onions, and you have the list. And you're looking at your list and it's on the kitchen table. And so you've given your list attention, you're looking at the list, but you haven't called it in yet. You got to call it in. So that's the clarity part. You got the clarity, you call it in, you give it more attention by calling the order in. I want this pizza. I want these things on it. Could be, I want this shiny car. I want the red one. You see, it's more specific. So you went from general and made a clarity list, and now you got more specific. You called in the pizza order. You called in the order of the car you want to the universe. And law of attraction goes to work with its thing, making all these components happen so that they intersect with you at the right time, like a speeding train. So, it's busy working away, and then your job is to allow it to come. So you might be sitting there saying, why isn't my shiny red car coming? Why isn't my pizza order coming? And the pizza guy, he's been coming to your house and he's putting pizzas by your door, and you have pizzas clear up to here by your door, because the universe, it always works. It's working. It's got your back. But you have not opened that door to allow it in. You have not opened the door to let the shiny red car in. And so you need to sit back and allow that car to come in, those pizzas to come in. And that's by giving up doubt. You don't sit there and say, what's wrong with that pizza boy? He's not coming. Or what's wrong with the universe? They're not showing up with my car yet. Because then that's doubt. And the tricky part is, as soon as you get into lack, as soon as you get into doubt, it causes a vibration of like creates like. It causes a vibration that the darn pizza can't get into your house. The darn car can't get into your driveway because you're not allowing. So Simone, you got something to add to that?
Yeah, love, allowing is really a tricky one. It is an art, and I think it's because it's so counter how we're imprinted culturally. We're a very do culture.
Yes.
Otherwise, if we're not busy enough, we're not successful, right? I mean, that's kind of the underlying message. And really, allowing yourself to allow, if you will, is it's tricky. Because people think, if I'm not doing, then I'm a slacker, I'm a loser, or whatever crazy, and very self-limited self-talk people have with themselves. So that was a lot of self, but it really is like that, isn't it? So 2 things about law of allowing is that it's the principle of least action of no resistance. And I think that's the part that just kills people, right? With no resistance, well then, I'm not showing my preferences, I'm not showing people that I've got a backbone, and all of these kinds of mislabeled things that our society says is okay to be in. So this is really a tricky one with my clients, and they want to learn how to do this. They want to relax into, I say it's success with less effort, right? Effort, less success. And some of them can just totally buy that, and others are like, I don't believe in that. And I'm like, and you're right, and that's what you're creating. So it is a tricky one, and it's very, you got to practice it. That's what I tell my clients. It's like, I'm not really teaching rocket science, but I am helping you really apply some basic principles that if you know how to use them, they work for you instead of you working them subconsciously and against yourself. So resistance, non-resistance, just like the law of polarity, I actually do a little mini workshop of how to use your resistance to get what you want, and I do the bow and arrow thing, right? If you don't have some tension of resistance, then your bow is just going to do this, right? Your arrow, I'm sorry, is just going to do this. And who wants this? I want that on target. So you have to learn to use your resistance, and that really is a sort of a feeling of law of allowing. There is an ebb and flow. There's a rhythm to it. I'm just trying to put that into the body for people so that it's not just this above the neck concept, because that's the tricky part. We keep tricking ourselves out of it. Do you have a question? You were going to say something, Sandra?
Yeah, I just had an aha. Yeah, it's so true, because when you are in the state of allowing, it's a relaxed state.
Yes.
I liked when you said it's in the body, because then that's when
it really is. And I think that a lot of my very left brain people are out of their body a lot of time because they're just so used to doing, and it's so automated, and it is so, I said rutted before in their brains, and I really mean that literally, that they forget that there's more than just this. It was like an old Star Trek episode where they were in the bell jars with no bodies because their big brains were so developed. Well, that doesn't work. There was a fire and those big brains couldn't get out. So that's a good way to sort of put it. You have to bring the whole being into law of allowing. And it really is a dance, an energetic dance. And it's not as poetic as I'm making it sound. It really feels like this in your body. And, if you're used to being a doer, then it's really hard to get back in your body, ironically, and just allow natural rhythms to work within yourself and without from yourself together.
Yeah.
To make it clearer.
I love that. I feel that so much. I feel like there's more to me to receive. There's just more to me. So like a simple thing like turning a doorknob, I can feel that doorknob more now, I think, than I could before. Because there's more to me.
Yes.
I guess there's more space. I got more space in my head and in my body.
You've expanded your capacity, and this is what I'm talking about, allowing into your body, getting in your body, really grounded, but allowing flow from being grounded, as opposed to constantly thinking about, you don't have, this is not all your capacity, and this, if it were, it's scary because we're only using, as they say, 10% of our brain.
Right.
So
yes.
That is a super limited way to live on top of your limited belief systems. Wow, you're really working hard, efforting for not a lot of time. So it's just a concept of releasing and relaxing and sort of just going into it. This is not just a hippy-dippy thing at all. It's very practical, and it's extremely based in science. And, this is the part that people, they just rely on their five senses, which is only half of them. That's the physical. Then there's the metaphysical, which is about the feeling and the emotions. And they're not doing that energetic work within themselves. So they're kind of cutting themselves off from a resource standpoint and working so hard. And that's what is a great recipe for burnout, for instance.
Yes. And all those wonderful resources are available now. All of them. They're webinars, seminars with technology and with cell phones. And like on the way here, I was listening to a call on a right brain business plan. It was like right here in my car, and everything is available. It's just all available for us, and we're so leading edge.
The resources to help us tap into our resources, our natural resources. Yes.
Yes, yes. And that's really the path of least resistance when we're learning and expanding.
Yeah.
And I feel that's when my source energy is flowing through me, and it feels really good. Well, we're at the end of our show today. This was a great show. I feel all stimulated, inspired.
Good, you too.
So what kind of ahas are you taking away? Tony, what about you?
Listening and being a novice at a lot of this, the resistance is a feeling of being vulnerable and out of control, and letting go of that when you're so right brain, when you're so into yourself, it's hard to let that go and trust. And that's something I have to keep reminding myself, because I am my worst enemy, you know, in the negative thoughts and things. But it's resistance, and it's the feeling of, you know, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to feel out of control. But the more you give into it, the more control you have. So that's what I came away with.
Awesome, yeah. Yeah, that is, like we say, it's a tricky one. That whole thing is a tricky one. It takes practice, lots and lots of practice, but it's fun practice. Well worthwhile. So, Simone, what kind of an aha do you have?
I think in total, it's a lot like what Tony just said. The opposite of allowing is resistance, and resistance is a symptom or the ailment really of your fears, your insecurities. It's kind of shocking when I think about how much our culture imprints that into us as the norm. And it's alarming, frankly, and we're moving into a different time culturally and as a world. So it would behoove us all to just relax a little bit more, but does not mean you lose your edge. This really means that you're creating and recapturing a lot of your own natural, your original resources. So I very much enjoy coaching that to clients, because when they do have their ahas, especially corporate people and high-tech people that I work with, they really blow up. So that is something that I'm hearing again today here, just how much it's needed. You know, this awareness first off, and then the tools of how to actually practice it.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, panel and viewers. It's been a great show and great sharing this material. I always get just as much out of it as comes out of my mouth here, and with the other people, it's wonderful. So I want to call, let's see, give a little attention to who I am again. You can come and get more information about me with my label here of hangoutwithsandralongmore.com. Everything in social media is under Sandra Longmore, and I'm focusing on the artist right now, which is something new for me that just helps me feel really whole by having my programs around the artist and creativity and law of attraction, so I don't have split energy over anything. And so I want to encourage you to go to my site, take a look at my latest 4-part series, and also to tune in to the Hangout with Sandra Longmore show, which I'm going to take the month of April off. I will be back the 1st of May. So that's how you get a hold of me. Tony, how do people get a hold of you?
I'm on Facebook, and let's see. I suppose you can get me at, I can't remember my Gmail address, Sandra, off the top of my head. But Facebook is always a good way to get a hold of me. So under
Yes.
Tony Winters, yeah.
Yeah, and you could always email me too. Okay, Simone, how do people get a hold of you?
They can reach me at that address at the bottom in my graphic, the Simone DaRosa, and DaRosa is D-A, like Da Vinci. I also have a website, and that is just my name, SimoneDaRosa.com.
Awesome, yeah, awesome. Well, that's it for today. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.